Hey guys, I just wanted to make a video today, a real quick video, and I want to make a discussion about Concord. And the discussion would just be about, sadly to say, I just don't think that Concord will do well. I think it will fail. And, I was trying out the beta today because I know it was getting a bad rap in media, but I like to try something out to really know that it's not as good as everyone's saying. Actually give it a fair chance. And I mean, also it's because I have a little disease called the hero shooter syndrome. I'm not gonna lie. If I see a hero shooter, I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna try it out. I've tried Bleeding Edge. I played Overwatch. I played Paladins. Like I'm on everything that comes out. Apex Legends. Any hero shooter, I'm there. But I wanted to just bring up the point that there's just a few key points as to why Concord just won't do well enough. And I need to say, after playing the beta, for one, Concord is good and it is fun. There's fun to be had. It's just not enough. So one problem that Concord has is, and it's the biggest problem that everyone tore it apart for, and it's just that it fails to set itself apart. It looks as if it's a hero shooter just like Overwatch with the team based. You go to a point and you fight, but it also, to me at least, I didn't hear many people bringing this up, but it looks like Apex Legends in the way it markets itself, how the characters look. It even kind of plays like Apex, in my opinion, much more than it plays like Overwatch, and then it has some elements of like Destiny in there as well. And on top of that, the character design is very reminiscent of Guardians of the Galaxy. So, with all these like problems failing to set itself apart, it just doesn't create a good identity for itself. And if you have no identity, you have no emotional connection to your player. And I think a lot of gaming outlets aren't realizing that they're not creating emotional connections with the people who want to buy their games, because when you don't do that, you just like you really fail to meet someone's niche, and if you're not meeting someone's niche, they don't want to play your games. That's why a lot of games used to become like really hidden gems, because they were hitting people's niche. But now, with a game like Concord, it's just not happening. And the game is good, but it's not good enough to make you leave your go-to online shooter. We have things like Overwatch and Apex Legends, Call of Duty, and those games are just they're more fun. And also, I mean, Overwatch was successful with this, but I just don't think it ever makes sense to make first-person hero shooters that are based on cosmetics. Like Overwatch did really well because it's Blizzard. It's a very popular company. There was nothing like Overwatch at the time. The characters in Overwatch had tons of energy. It's very vibrant. It's one of the only things that could have made that success story with a first person shooter. But like, why would you, why would you make a first person shooter that's based off cosmetics when it also isn't, like, when it's supposed to be a very creative looking shooter? And like the problem with that is you don't even see your character, you know? And I know that there are other franchises that are successful with that type of stuff, but they're all usually very established franchises like Call of Duty, that where it's like they're already popular. People are going to buy the cosmetics for sure because that's their favorite game. And I think something that Sony wasn't understanding about this game is that it's a brand new IP, from a brand new studio, and this is nobody's favorite game. And on top of that, people already have, their behavior inclines them to play their favorite game like Overwatch and Call of Duty already. They don't want to change their new game. They don't want to change their go-to game. You have to convince them to start playing a new game, and they didn't do they really were failing on that field on this game. And like, just to touch on the gameplay a little bit more, like the balance is kind of iffy. Like I was using a character that just shoots in the sky, and like she gets better aim from just staying in the sky and shooting you. And I was like, that's kind of bullshit. Like, imagine if Farah got better aim shooting you in the sky. And the reason I'm saying this about this character in Concord is because I felt like that character was really mowing characters down. And anytime I was using her mainly myself. And anytime I would change my character and have to fight that character, I was like, oh God, the balance here is terrible. It's fine for a hero shooter to be on balance when it first is coming out, but if it's just unfun balance, I don't know. And on top of that, when it comes to the final thing about the game is that there's no mode that sets it apart. At least from what I've seen, maybe there's different marketing material that I haven't seen, but all I played was capture points and team death matches. And I don't even think either of those were like truly showing the interesting collaboration that could happen with these characters' toolkits. And Overwatch does a really good job with making you enjoy that. For what it's worth, no matter how much Overwatch gets hate, it's a good game with pretty good systems, and it urges people to work as a team. And I just didn't feel like I needed to work as a team in Concord because everything seemed jumbled. There was nothing telling people what to do, and I just don't think there was enough explanation of the game, and that really could have helped it in its beta. And it wasn't there. Maybe they should have delayed that. So now that we've talked about the game, let's talk more about ways that Concord could be saved. And even I don't even think Concord could be saved if it were to go free to play. And there's a few reasons why. So, first of all, Concord could either go all the way free to play or it could just go into PlayStation Plus. So, PlayStation Plus members get it free just for having PlayStation Plus. Just like, copying Destruction All Stars Homework. That was a $70 game that came out with the PlayStation 5 as a launch title. And then nobody wanted it. So, they put it into PlayStation Plus and it still failed. But the problem with Concord doing that is, Concord doesn't create any value for PlayStation Plus. Like, no one's going to see Concord with its current public perception and say, hey, let me subscribe to PlayStation Plus. At least not enough people, So that's just tanking your revenue anyway. And it's going to make Sony look at the game sideways. Like, I believe this game was being developed for 7 years. Sony acquired Firelink, the studio that made Concord, to develop this game. And, burning through 7 years of development, and having to pay a bunch of high paid workers, it just doesn't work out when you don't make much from, back. You don't get any return of investment, And the problem with Concord going into PlayStation Plus is that it's just not desirable. It's like the reason Game Pass grows is because they put desirable games in there that will help grow Game Pass overall, because they want people to see value in the games they're putting on their subscription service. But right now, there's barely anyone seeing the value in Concord. And on top of that, even if Concord were to go all the way free to play, it's not, you don't even need a PlayStation Plus subscription. You just get to play it. You buy, you buy your cosmetics, and it's totally free to play, like Fortnite. The problem with that is free to play games have just been taking a huge hit ever since Fortnite. And it's because many console companies, many companies that make games for consoles specifically, started going to the free-to-play model ever since Fortnite came out, because they saw how much success Fortnite received, and it just has not been going that well. There are always many free-to-play games on PC because that's the culture for PC, and they're very different games. But we've been seeing many games that are similar, with similar art styles, and it's just another case of companies flooding the gaming market with too many too many similar games. It's getting oversaturated, and the games just keep failing. Like there have been so many free to play games that have just come and gone in the last few years. And free to play games used to be like free marketing. And it still is. It very much still is, but you need to make a good product. Because now they're not just automatically free marketing just because you're free like they were before on consoles, because we didn't have that many free to play games a few years ago. Now it's just like it's less appealing to make a free to play game because gamers themselves, their behavior has changed. Like even me myself, when I see a game is free to play, I just perceive I actually have a lower perceived value of a free to play game nowadays because they've just been continuously like unimpressive to me. So I'd rather pay for a game, at least a cheap game like Helldivers 2. I look at a game like that and I'm like, that's a good deal. $40, and it looks like a game with quality. It fulfills a niche. It has some cool things to like interact with your friends. Like there's a lot of perceived value there. But if this game were to go free to play, I would think I don't even know how likely I would be to play it, even if it was free to play, or if how likely other people would be to play it. And the thing is, on top of that, with free to play games, we have an oversaturated market, but also we have actual good games now. Like back in the day, free to play games, they were a bit iffy, but now because we've oversaturated the market so much, there actually are a lot of really good free to play games, and you're basically getting like a $60 package for free. You just and like half of the time you don't even need to pay. Like you can just keep playing the game for free if you don't care about any cosmetics. As long as the game isn't like a pay to win game, you can just keep playing the game like Fortnite, and it's like you're getting a really big game with tons of work put into it for free. And that's another thing with the free to play market right now. Being good isn't enough because you have to be good and also have perceived value, because Concord right now, it's good, but it's lackluster. It doesn't have its own visual identity. It's copying a lot of the identity of Guardians of the Galaxy. It's copying the visual identity of Apex Legends. It's copying Overwatch in its appeal. It's just not working. And I just feel like it's going to fail. But that's just everything I had to say about how I feel about Concord, especially after playing it. If you have your own thoughts, please drop it in the comments. Even if it's a debate, I would love to speak about the game. I'm very interested in hero shooters, and I love creating discussions on this channel. I'm a new channel just starting out, so if you're interested in any of my videos, I appreciate it if you check them out. I actually just made a video on a game called Gigantic Rampage Edition, which is another hero shooter. It's actually my favorite hero shooter of all time. I like it even more than Overwatch, but it is a very unfinished game. And although it is fun, it is very messed up in its re-release, as it's a game that came out in 2017 and now it's messed up. Yeah, if you enjoyed this video, hit a like, a subscribe, or comment, and let's have a discussion.